Handle it or it will handle you. But either way it goes, it's gonna get handled one way or another. That's life. That's something that I'm sure you've realized if you've lived long enough. Life has things it's gonna throw at you that you've never seen coming. And procrastination is a killer. It's a deadly sin that I don't know if it's one of the 7 deadly sins, but it's definitely a sin that needs to be addressed and attacked. Myself, to this day, I suffer from procrastination sometimes, and I'm lately been doing my best to avoid it. And I've been really feeling good about how I've been handling that. But I just want to make this video to remind you guys of how important it is to focus on the things that you need to get done and stop putting them off for tomorrow. Because next thing you know, a week has passed, and then a month, then a few months, and then a year, and you still ain't handled what needs to be handled. There's so many examples of this, whether it comes to if you have kids, they got stuff that they need, you ain't handling that, man, your kids ain't getting taken care of, that's a mess waiting to happen. You ain't taking care of your woman, it's only a matter of time before she's leaving you. You got some kind of chronic illness you've been putting off, you ain't getting it checked up. I mean, you already know what's next with that. So I really want to emphasize how important it is to handle things, man, and stop letting things handle you. Because either way it goes, it's going to get handled, whether it be you or it. And I'm all about self-control. In this life, they say what we have is what's called destiny, right? Destiny is where your best self is waiting for you to uncover it on the other side of whatever trials and tribulations you need to get through. Whereas if you get deterred on that path towards your destiny and you get veered off and you go off into this other path where you probably shouldn't be going, that's what's called fate. And fate is what the world is trying to put on you to get you off your path towards destiny. And I'm here to remind you, man, you have control of your destiny if you want. Or you can just take a back seat of your life instead of being in the driver's seat, and you can let the world drive your destiny for you and veer you towards your fate that you really don't want to have. The choice is yours, man. Me, for the longest time since I left my parents' house back in, after college, I dropped out of college. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I didn't finish, but that was my choice. I realized it wasn't for me. And I wanted to try something different. But I always knew I wanted to be in control of my destiny. I always knew that I wanted to do something different. I don't want to just do what the world suggested for me to do. Because they don't know me. They don't know what I like to do. They don't know what my goals are and what I'm into. And I took that chance. I took a chance on myself, not knowing the path. I didn't know how clean it was going to be. And it definitely wasn't clean. It was a lot of bumpy roads. I veered off the path so many times it ain't even funny. But over time, I straightened things out and I got more clear about my goals and what I wanted. And that's through trial and error. As a young man, you're going to have to figure it out. You might not know what your next steps are to get to where you want to be. But I'm telling you, man, you need to take some steps. Take some steps in the right direction. Because eventually you'll get there if you just keep putting the next foot in front of the next foot. And along the way, you're going to maybe bump your head. You might not know the answer. But as you keep taking steps, you're going to learn along the way. And here's the big thing, man. You're going to be ahead of people who ain't taking those steps to get to where they want to be. Most people are stuck in fate because fate is comfortable. Fate is way too comfortable, man. And that's the trick of fate. That's how they get us in these secure jobs that most of us hate deep down. I think I read somewhere that like 80% of people hate their job. This is before COVID, actually. So it's probably more than that. As you can see, a lot of people nowadays, it's pretty common for people to quit their job hopping. And I'm all for that as long as you're happy with what you're deciding to jump to. But it all comes down to taking control of your destiny and not letting people tell you what your destiny is, because they don't know you. They don't know what you want to do. Only you know that. So at the end of the day, man, you got to learn how to control that. You got to learn how to handle things that need to be handled as soon as you can. Don't put it off. Procrastination is a deadly sin that creeps up on all of us, man, because it's so easy to put it off. In a way, it's like you're passing the burden off to your future self versus just handling it now to make your future self, his life easier. You want to make your future self's life easier. And you want the future you to thank the past you for putting that work in and getting all that hard stuff out the way so that you can live a better life in the future. It's best to do the hard thing early. Do the hard thing first. So that way you can have an easier life later down the road. Versus doing the easy thing first and putting the hard thing off later. That's what most people do. That's the easy thing to do because it's easy first. I'll get to the hard stuff later. I'll deal with it later. And then later comes, and now you got this big old pile of things that you got to do. Now you got to rush through it. It's a mess. It's a snowball effect that is doing nothing but making life harder for you. And a lot of people end up getting older and their life is a lot harder than they want it to be, only because when they were younger, they didn't take the initiative to handle the things that they should have handled when they had all the energy to handle it at that point in time. Take it from me, man. I'm in my early 30s. And I'm sure you have people that are older that tell you all the time, especially if you're younger in your early, and even if you're 30, 40 plus, you lived life long enough. You've seen the bullshit you've been putting off and you've seen the result. You're probably not where you want to be in life. Not to say we're all where we want to be in life necessarily, but a lot of us may want to be further along than where we are. And that's natural. You should want to be further along, but I'm saying it's important to understand how important it is to knock that thing out early. The earlier, the better. And I think as you get older, you're going to realize, damn, I should have got on it and struck while the iron was hot. Because as you get older, man, that iron starts to cool down and it gets a little harder to, strike that iron and make it shape how you want it to shape. You dig what I'm saying? So take heed to what I'm saying, man. The clock is ticking. I feel like I say this a lot, but it's so crucial, man. I mean, not to say we're running out of time like that, but we really are, though. I mean, time is a one of those things that it's hard to really see it every day. Every day it creeps up on you. You don't really see this time that's ticking. Is those days and those months and those weeks and years add up. And next thing you know, you're like, damn, it's 2024. Man, I remember it was 2019, like yesterday, you know? That's what everybody says. And the reason they say that is because they've been bullshitting for all these years. And they can't believe they've been doing the same thing and they haven't really been, their life hasn't really been memorable. And they haven't really been doing stuff that they want to do with their time. So make sure you guys handle those things that you need to handle as soon as possible. Stop putting it off. Get it done like a man's supposed to. So you can live the life you want to live as soon as possible and for as long as possible. All right? I'm gone.